I wanted to shoot this video for you accelerator folks because Amazon has recently changed how it looks. They're always changing little things slightly. And I thought it'd be fun to do an updated video on what it looks like when you hit #1 bestseller on your launch day. So this is going to be giving an example using Mark Wills, who's a private client of mine that I've been helping with his bestseller launch. And he's live today. He officially started really promoting it to his audience around noon Pacific time, and now it's almost 7 p.m. Pacific time. So just to give you a context, he's been pushing it for about 7 hours, and he's got a really big, good, strong audience. So his results are pretty good and a bit higher than what most clients are hitting. So it's definitely an aspirational thing to shoot for, but you by all means will be getting there as well, even if it's just in fewer categories. But let me show you exactly what it looks like. So we're going to review 8 different spots for you to look for social proof and screenshots that you have accomplished your goals. Okay, so let's first start with the book's individual page, and there's 2 different areas I want you guys to look. So this is Mark's page, and the first one that I share is actually under product details. So let me just scroll down. So if you scroll down about halfway down the page, then you'll see this product details area. And down here, it shows you your Amazon rank overall in all of Kindle, because he's launching just Kindle today. And then it shows the standings in the subcategories. So right now he's number 626 in all of paid Kindle, which is amazing. And that's one of the highest I've ever had for clients to get to. And he's number 1 in these 3 categories. Now, actually, he's number 1 in far more than these 3 categories. These are just the ones that Amazon shows. So as a quick overview, when you're inside of your KDP account, you get to pick up to 2 categories. They usually place you physically in 3 categories under your product details, but you're actually able to show up in more, and you can reach out to tech support, which is something we're going to talk about later in the accelerator, how to do that to put yourself into up to 10. So it's really exciting. You can get screenshots and far more than just these 3 categories, but I'm going to show you what it looks like live right here. So number 1 is we'd want to come here and grab a screenshot of this, because we can then show that you've hit the trifecta and you've got number 1 in all 3 categories at this current moment. Okay, so that's the first one. Number 2 is look back up at the top of the page for your book and see if you've got a flag. So Mark just got this number 1 bestseller flag in the past hour or 2. Earlier, it showed number 1 new release or hot new release. So we got screenshots of that earlier. So I would come in here and grab a nice screenshot of that. Now, as a heads up, getting the hot new release is almost, 99.9% guaranteed. If you follow what I teach you in the accelerator, you're going to get that hot new release flag, no questions asked. Not everyone gets the bestseller flag. So even if you hit number 1 bestseller in categories, which we're 100% going to do, you might not get the flag. That one is a little bit more fickle in whether it shows up or not. But if you get enough sales in your launch day to kind of push you over the edge in the algorithm, you will get that nice little flag there too. And we want to grab a screenshot. So that's the second one, is you want to look for the flag at the top of your page. Okay, the next area is we want to look at the book's category pages. So let me scroll back down here and show you the easiest way to get that. So what I like to do is go to these subcategories where you're showing up and open them in a new window. So I'm just right-clicking each of those so that they open up in new windows. And now we want to come over here to each of these, and we're going to take screenshots of each of those where it shows your book as number 1 in that category. All right, so here we go. So let's look at this one. So this one's home-based business. So right now, Mark's book is number 1. So this is a really cool shot to grab. So I might grab the entire thing, maybe even the URL as well, because once you start looking at international ones, sometimes it gets hard to keep track of it. So having that URL can be helpful. And grabbing that screenshot. Actually, you don't even have to do that, because you can tell right here from Amazon that it is the US, and I'll show you how it looks different for other countries too. So never mind, scratch that. We can just take a screenshot without the URL, but make sure it says Amazon bestseller. It looks awesome. Notice there is top 100 paid and top free. So the way that I teach it is to go live in the paid so that you can actually get a bestseller in the paid version. So we've got our screenshot. That looks awesome. I might scroll down and you can see also he's #1 new release in this category as well, which is my #4 item. So you want to also look at the hot new release rankings and get a side-by-side comparison shot of that. So what I could do is click on this new releases and it will open up basically the same thing we just saw, but with new releases. So here we go, Amazon hot new releases, and Mark is #1. So I would also grab a screenshot of that because that is brag worthy. Brag worthy. What did I say? All right, so we got a screenshot of that one, and I'll just go back on this one. And like we saw in these other categories that we opened, you want to go into each of the pages and see their side-by-side comparison rankings and get those screenshots. So we get our screenshot here and here, which shows the 3 categories that we saw on the page. Now, I actually know from following Mark's book throughout the day that he hit #1 in other categories that aren't showing on that product page. So for example, here's a screenshot I took earlier where he's #1 in mortgages in the Kindle store as an example. Also non-formal education, which aren't showing up right now on that product details page, but he's still #1 over there. So I pulled this up right here before I started the video just to show you. So I went and found mortgages in the Kindle store, and you can see sure enough here he is in #1. So I actually got this screenshot earlier in the day, but if I hadn't, then I could get that now. So you can look at all of the different categories that you know that you're placed in if you do the tactic that I teach you later in the accelerator around how to make sure that tech support puts you in the 10 categories that you want, because then you can go and check those and kind of keep the short links to them to go a lot faster. Okay, so we've covered look at #3, hot release #4. Now let's talk about how to see the other countries' Amazon pages. And we're going to do the exact same thing as we did in 1 through 5, or I should say 1 through 4 above, but just in the other countries. So there's the best way to approach it for you from your own book's login is if you go into your KDP account and you scroll down to your books. If you click on view on Amazon, you'll see that all these different countries pop up, and you can just right click these and open them up in new windows, and it's super easy to see your book live on other Amazon pages. So United Kingdom, Germany, France, Spain, Italy, the Netherlands, Japan, Brazil, Canada, Mexico, Australia, and India. So just do, let's do the UK and Canada just to show you as a quick example. Now, I don't have the login to Mark's book, so I can't show you a fast way to log into these or look at these for Mark's book in particular, but I'm just showing you as an example with one of my books so you can see how fast and easy that it actually is. All right, so here in the UK, if I scroll down to product details, then you can see where the book is ranking. Now, I have not promoted this book in a long time, so my rankings are not very good, and I wouldn't even care about taking screenshots of these, but it just goes to show how you could, and then you could open up all these, take the screenshots like we showed you before. If you had the flag, then you could take a picture of the flag when you've got that too. So here it also is in Canada, and you can see up in the upper left-hand corner, it says Amazon.ca in the corner. So that shows that it's Canada, and it'll help you in your screenshots to keep track of it. So if I scroll down, let me see here, I'm doing a bit better in Canada, number 73, and I haven't even promoted it in a long, long time. So that's how you can easily see it from your own KDP account into the different countries. But let me show you one other little hack. So let me go back to Mark's page and show you how you can quickly see your book in other countries, even if you don't use that hack I just showed you. So here in the URL, if you just change .com to the suffix or whatever you would call it for that country, it'll redirect you to that country's page. So let's look at Mark's book in Canada, for example. So instead of .com, it's .ca, and that's how it works for Canada's. Now, some of these, I've done this so many times with clients that I've got them all memorized, so you might not have it memorized, but it is another hack. If you do it a couple of times, you'll start to notice exactly how they work. So now I'd scroll down to product details and see if he's ranking in Canada. Now, since there's no rankings down here, what that means is he hasn't had a purchase yet in Canada. So if you get to your books page and there's no ranking, it just means you haven't had any sales yet. So you just need to get a couple of friends from that country to make the purchases, and then after an hour or a few, it'll update and you'll start seeing rankings in there. Now, since Mark's book in particular is how to become a notary, a loan signing agent in the United States, it really doesn't make sense for him to promote his book in a lot of other countries. So I wouldn't expect that he's going to be ranking in other countries, but that might be different for you. So .com.au is another example for bringing us to Australia. So here's Mark's book in Australia. We scroll down and yeah, he's not ranking in there because he's not doing any big promotion outside of the US, since it doesn't make sense for his book. But that's what you could do. If you just know the little suffixes, you can change those out and just really quickly jump to your book in different countries. Okay, let's look at number 6. So we want to check up in the parent categories for how you rank in more competitive listings. Okay, so let's go back and take this one for example. So he's number 1 in home-based business, which is a subcategory of sales and marketing. So let's open up sales and marketing in another window and see how he's ranking in that parent category. So here it is in this screen. And maybe while that's opening, I'll also go one higher into marketing and sales, and I'll even go up into business and money. Now, most of the time, if you're going live, you're probably not going to rank number 1 in these parent categories. Heck, let's even go all the way to nonfiction. But even if you don't hit number 1 in some of these, maybe you're number 14 or number 23, and you're surrounded by Gary Vaynerchuk's books and Russell Brunson and other people in business that look really cool. Those screenshots can be valuable for social sharing as well, even if you're not hitting number 1 in the parent categories. All right, so let's look at the parent category of sales and selling. So he is actually number 1 in this parent category as well. So this requires a big old screenshot because that is awesome. And if you scroll down, let's see, he's also number 1 new release in this category too. So I'd pop into there and take a screenshot of that. Now let's go one more up, marketing and sales. Now he is number 2 in all of marketing and sales. That is also incredible job. So I'm going to take a big screenshot of that. And if we scroll down, he's number 1 new release in that category too, which is awesome. So this is rather unusual for most people to get number 1 or 2 in all the parent categories. But if you do a really big marketing push and you're able to get a lot of sales concentrated, then make sure to approach this tactic. Now let's look at business and money. Okay, so this really massive parent category, let's see where he is ranking. Looks like he's number 2 new release in all of that category, which is incredible. I take a screenshot of that. And if we scroll down, he's number 16, which is awesome. So you can look at some of the books around him and see if there's any big names you recognize. Chris Gillibo, I don't know how to say it right, but I've totally recognized that name. Let me see, who else is he right up here with? Oh, he's beating Rachel Hollis. So some cool things you could he's beating Choose Yourself by James Altucher, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So that's an incredible feat. You could say I'm number 23 and right now I'm beating Dale Carnegie's book, like super popular book. So we definitely want to take a photo of this as well. And sometimes I will zoom way out and see if I can get like a lot of stuff showing in the page. Okay, there we go. If we zoom crazy out, we can see that he's number 2 new release and number 16 right here in this screenshot. Although that looks, a little hectic. It's still pretty cool. I'm gonna take a big screenshot of that. Okay, so let me put this back. So that gives you an idea of how to look up at the parent categories as well, because you might be ranking number 1 or even not number 1, but around really cool other book listings. Okay, and number 7 is to do a search in Amazon for your author name or the book title and see if you can find the flags there. So I did a search I did Mark Will's Loan, because his name is actually kind of common. So there's a lot of other junk going around there. And I see his book, and right now he's got the bestseller flag. So I'm going to take a screenshot of that. You can kind of take it up close, or you can kind of take it more expanded. Let me see here. And that's another spot to look. And then number 8 is on your author page. So if you click over to your author page, here's Mark's, and you can see he's got the #1 bestseller flag right now as well. So I'm going to take a nice screenshot of all of that. And you can also kind of adjust the window to make the text over here show up how you like it a little bit more. You can hit read more to expand it and take a more zoomed in shot too. But make sure you get a picture when you've got that flag. That is the money shot. And let me throw in one last little bonus. Number 9 is to actually look on mobile and get the same screenshots that we just talked about, but from your mobile device, because it looks a little bit different. So here are a few that I snapped earlier. So see how it looks a little bit tighter, a little kind of looks cool from here. So I took a screenshot and then I actually marked it up from my iPhone as I went. And here's another one where you can see #1 in all 3 of the categories. So as a little bonus is actually look at it from your phone and get the screenshots from your mobile device. So it looks a little bit different and can be easy to share directly from your phone onto Instagram or Facebook or the different platforms that you want to share with the world that you've got it. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to share in this video is what to do next. So once you've got these screenshots, what do we want to do with them to really leverage them? So #1 is I would put all the screenshots in a folder. You can even change the name and label them nicely so it's easy to kind of review back or go grab them later in the future. Also, if you've got screenshots from different countries, you can do different folders based on the countries to make it easy to search for them later. Because in the future, when you want to use this, let's say in a year, it'll take you forever to kind of scroll through old stuff if you don't have it nicely organized. And then another platform that I love using is called Sketch. And that is a free app that you can download, and it will help you mark up and draw on the images to make it even cooler for social sharing. So here's one it's pulling up that I did earlier in the day when he was #1 in 3 categories. And that was the first time he hit #1 in all 3 on the product page. So then I came in here and I added this text, hit the trifecta, congrats Mark, let's go for more, and put little arrows and stuff. And then you can export and save this image and now go share it on social media, which is step 3, because you want to really leverage the heck out of it. Okay, so if you're watching this in the beginning of the accelerator, I hope this is a great little insight into what is possible for you coming up. And we're going to go over the details of how to get there in the coming lessons. All right, well, keep up the good work and let me know if you have any questions. Talk to you later.